And let's talk about Miss Bel Callis Almanzar. So, Cardi B is currently on her tour, promoting this Am I the Drama album. And I've seen little clips online. I know there's some people said they was underwhelmed with the dance and all that other stuff. I'm like, it's the beginning. She's probably nervous. I'm on Wigan State throwing shade at her, talking about that, oh, she's not a good dancer and all this other stuff. But she said she's been practicing, and I'm gonna give her at least until she comes to the garden because she's doing 2 nights next month. And I'm gonna give her until then. If you don't got it, if you don't have the choreography in the pocket and all the good stuff, then yeah, you gonna get red. But for the most part, she got into a bit of a kerfuffle with Homeland Security and ICE because she threw a little shade at them during the opening night of her tour, and you knew they was going to come and have a clapback because what else they doing? They supposed to be doing government work, and they spend more time throwing shade and saying all kinds of crazy stuff on social media instead of working. So now she in a feud with this administration. Oh, sorry, regime. So it all started when on with her Wednesday night concert in Palm Desert, California, as part of her Little Miss Drama tour. Cardi B sounded off on any potential ICE federal agents that may have been at the concert. She said, "Bitch, if ICE come in here, we gonna jump their asses. I got some bedmates in the back. They ain't taking my fans, bitch." Now, the Department of Homeland Security's Twitter account then had a scathing reply to a TMZ article about Cardi B's ICE comments, because that old queen, Harvey, is a damn Trump supporter. So they said, as long as she don't drug and rob our agents, we'll consider that an improvement over her past behavior. This is what Department of Homeland Security posted, which was a reference to her comments years ago how about she allegedly would drug and rob men in hotels when she worked as a scripper. Now, in 2019, she said whether or not they were poor choices at the time, I did what I had to do to survive, and I never claimed to be perfect or come from a perfect world. Unlike this administration, which tries to do all of that, we're hiding all the Epstein file stuff. And we don't get into it in a second because that was Cardi's clapback. When I do find it funny, it was like, as long as you don't drug and oh no, because ICE is busy doing that too. We all rounding up people and sending them to a gulag, God knows where. When and people having and a lot of these immigrants that y'all grabbing, because maybe they're getting paid under the table or whatever the case is, and they've got stacks of money on them or whatever the case is, and y'all sitting there stealing their stuff. So if we're gonna sit up here and talk about thievery, let's talk about the thievery. Let's talk about all the things. So she clapped back at DHS by replying, if we talk about drugs, let's talk about Epstein and friends drugging underage girls to grape them. Why y'all don't want to talk about the Epstein files? Now, since the Department of Justice unveiled more than 3 million more files of sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein in recent weeks, several celebrities, politicians, and major public figures have had to answer for their past ties with him. Trump is named more, they said more than 5,300 times. Let's change that. The unredacted files, his name been mentioned over 1 million times. So it's not 5,300. Y'all were trying to be generous up in here. Where did I get this article from? Variety. Y'all trying to smooth the sales a little bit. It wasn't more than 50. Well, technically, it would be more than 5,300 times. But if you talk about unredacted, it was over 1 million. And that's the recent story that came out. And if people want to call me a liar, whatever the case is, because I'm just the messenger, you do know Google is free and it's your friend. Look it up. I'm not talking about go to the places that you feel comfortable going to get your misinformation. I'm talking about really look up the information and do the research. So yeah, but he's denied any wrongdoing and as far has not faced any consequences. And we already know that when it comes to this country, nobody who does bad faces consequences. Now, if you're in a different country, which foreign leaders are facing consequences for getting caught up in the Epstein files, but in America, you do criminalities and things. Oh, you get rewarded for it. You get to have a reality show. You get a position in the White House. You get all kinds of perks if you go out and commit white and blue collar crimes. All the crimes. Now look, Trump's ICE Gestapo. Y'all really thought y'all ate with that tight ass read, but unlike Nikki, who will allow the current regime of fascist thugs to play her like a harp from hell, like they did with that gold card. Carter, is not one to fuck with. Now, we all know all this is happening as a way to distract from Trump's name being mentioned over 1 million times in them unredacted Epstein files. And Carter's clapback is only scratching the surface regarding the deplorable things that went on in Epstein Island. Now, let's get into it. Wasn't it just reported that 330 gallons of sulfuric acid was ordered to Epstein Island around the same time federal authorities were beginning their investigation into Epstein's sex trafficking activities? Now, I've seen enough gangster movies to know that there's only one reason why a criminal would need that much sulfuric acid or just sulfuric acid in general. But that much, 330 gallons? What the hell was y'all doing? So look, and then Epstein and the billionaires that frequented his island could give two shits about the people below the poverty line who they auction off, fuck to the high heavens, and discarded by putting some of their bodies they went too far with in that sulfuric acid and dumped them at the bottom of the ocean that surrounds the island. Also, if DHS is going to throw stones, let's talk about the story that broke 2 days ago regarding a man who reportedly does background checks for ICE getting arrested in Bloomington, Minnesota, sex ring because they was over there sex trafficking underage girls. So, or just girls in general. So we're gonna talk. Let's talk. Also, let's talk about the inhumane conditions people in these ICE facilities are being kept under, such as having a bunch of illegal immigrants packed up like sardines in one room with one toilet, or so many people getting sick in these facilities, including babies, and being denied health aid. A woman needing sanitary napkins and then instead being given diapers, or a man killing over from stomach pains and instead being checked out by a doctor, he's offered Tylenol. So if we're gonna open up this can of worms, let's go there with what's going on. But y'all not willing to do that. It's easy to come with a tight ass clapback about drugging strippers compared to probably icing up in there getting they getting to rub on some ass of a stripper. They wish they can get the likes of a Cardi B to be grinding upon them. But as I said, Cardi's a big girl. She's definitely somebody who is thick skinned and knows how to handle the likes of these morons. But I do agree, girl. You got to be careful out here with some of this stuff because then you opening yourself for a can of worms. But she ain't scared of these people. It's like, look, she's like, I'm from the Bronx. We've had to deal with crazier shit than worry about some pussy assholes like DHS. So I say all this to say what you guys think of this story regarding Cardi B going at it with, getting into a war of words with ICE and DHS. Now, whatever your thoughts are on this matter, let me know in the comments down below.